Well, thank you very much. This is a rather nice crowd. You can't see the end of it. Hello back there. Boy, you are so far. I don't know if they can see anything. I want to give a special hello to Coachella. We have had a great reception here. And look at this crowd. This is like record stuff. As far as the eye can see, that means we're going to do very well. This is like a poll. And a very also special hello to the state of California. We got to make it better. We got to make it better. I stand before you today in the heart of the majestic Coachella Valley to declare that the Republican Party will always put America first and lead us on to victories like you have never seen before. We got a big victory. Because we've become the party of common sense. You know, we call it common sense. We're conservative. Who the hell knows? We might even be a little bit liberal. But you know what? We have common sense. We have common sense. That's what it's all about. No, we're nice and conservative, but we do it the proper way, and we're doing numbers that nobody's ever seen. Look at these rallies. Nobody's ever seen anything like that. Nobody's ever seen. And we're fighting for hardworking citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed, right? And that sun is hot. I'll tell you. Should I or should I not put on the hat, the famous hat? Okay. Who wants me to put it on? Who loves my hair and said you shouldn't put it on? All right, I'm putting this on. That sun is hot. Right. Tell me if it's nice and even. Right? Yeah. Okay. Mr. Wall. I love Mr. Wall. Front row Joes over here. Here they come. And we have the great women from North Carolina over here. Look at them. That's number 219 or something for them. They're wealthy and beautiful, and they have wonderful husbands, I think. I don't know. What are they doing? What are the husbands doing? The radical left Democrats have destroyed this state, but we are going to save it, and we're going to make it better than ever before. Yet I've come here today not only to talk about California, where you have one of the worst governors in the country, Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom. No. But you definitely had somebody here that was horrible. Kamala. And now she wants to destroy our country. We're not going to let her destroy our country like she did San Francisco, right? But how will we save America from suffering the same fate? Because if she's here, you know how we'll do it? By voting for Trump. It's very easy. Kamala Harris and the radical Democrats have destroyed this state. California's really, it's a paradise lost, but we're going to bring it back. Don't worry about it. We're bringing it back. It'll happen fast. We'll stop the murderers from coming in, the drug dealers, everybody coming into California, coming into our country. Through generations of American history, California stood as the beacon of what our country aspired to become. It really did. It had everything. It had the weather. It had the water. The state had the best schools, the safest communities, and a booming middle class. But all that was eradicated by decades of the very policies that Kamala Harris wants to now force upon America. I don't think it's going to happen. And by the way, we're leading in all the polls, but we have to win. Too big to rig. We're leading in the polls, but we have to do it too big to rig. Because they are good at one thing. You know what that one thing is? Here goes cheating. That's true. They're professional thieves. Today, California has the highest inflation, the highest taxes, the highest gas prices, the highest cost of living, the most regulations, the most expensive utilities, the most homelessness, the most crime, the most decay, and the most illegal aliens. Other than that, I think you're doing quite well, actually. Turn it up. We're not going to let Kamala Harris do to America what she did to California. We're not going to let it happen. So whether you are Democrat, Republican, or Independent, this election is your chance to send a message. Back home to mommy. She goes back home to mommy. Was that you, darling? And then she gets the hell knocked out of her. Her mother's a big fan of ours. You know that, right? Her father, her mother. Now, you always have that. Now, tomorrow, here's the only problem. So we have like 100,000. We have a lot of people. You know, in Butler last week, we had 101,000. Can you imagine? Celebrating the life of a great person, a great fireman, actually, Corey. But we had 101,000. So whether you're a Democrat or Republican or Independent, this election is your chance to send a message to the world that the people of California are not going to take it any longer. We're not going to take it any longer. Kamala Harris got you into this mess, and only Trump is going to get you out of it. We're going to get you out of it. But by far, one of the biggest factors in destroying California has been mass illegal immigration and a governor that plays right into their hands. What a shame. What a shame. She got it started. Kamala got it started. Now she's saying, no, I'd like to see the wall get built. Oh, she'd like to see. Where was she 4 years ago? This just is new. You know, her poll numbers are tanking. So all of a sudden she's in love with the wall, which does work. Two things work. You know what they are? Wheels and walls. Everything else, you can have a brand new, beautiful computer for that beautiful young boy of yours, and in about 2 weeks it's obsolete. But wheels and walls never get obsolete. And we built one hell of a wall. We were going to add 200 miles more, and then bad things happened last time. You know, we got more votes the second time by millions than we got the first. Anyway, they took over, and that's when I realized they want to have an open border because they didn't want to put a little bit of extra that I bought, far beyond what I said I was going to build. And they sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. Can you believe it? These people, they're so bad. And now they're realizing it works, and now they want to build some, but it's a little late for them because they're not going to be there very much longer, I don't think. You know, Joe Biden was the worst president in the history of our country. She's the worst vice president in the history of our country. There's never been anything, and we're not going to let her. You know, I beat Biden, so we have a debate. He went down. He was down. In all fairness to him, he got 14 million votes. She got none, right? So he goes down. They said, we want you out of here. I won't do it. We want you out of here, Joe. You know, it was a coup. It was a coup. They actually threw him out of office. And I'm convinced that he likes me a little bit more, this much more, than he likes her. I'm convinced. I'm pretty well convinced. Across the state, which Kamala, or as she would say, Kamala, helped to make a sanctuary state. Does anybody really want? You know what a sanctuary state is? That's a place where you keep criminals, right? Who the hell wants that? The mass migration invasion has crushed wages, crashed school systems. Your systems are a disaster. Wrecked the standard of living and brought crime, drugs, misery, and death. Now, over the past 4 years, Border Czar Harris has delivered the same nightmare invasion to every state in America as your vice president. I can't even believe it. How do you like the vice president she picked? How about that guy? How about that guy? I don't know. What the hell is wrong with our country? Right? Right? Look, you know, we used to have the greatest Abraham Lincoln, George. Now look at this stuff. Can you believe what we're doing? She's so bad. She's so bad. It can't happen. Although the way things go in this country nowadays, I guess it probably could. That's why we want to build up a lead. We got to build up that lead because such bad things. And we've got to do it. And I don't want to keep saying it. Too big to rig. I don't want to say it. She's imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from the dungeons of the third world. They come from the dungeons of the third world. Many are prisoners. Some had death sentences. They were going to be executed for murder. But they're now living happily in California and other places in our country. Congratulations. If you see them, I think you should be kind and take them in, give them a meal. Let them stay with your children. They'll take care of your children. From prisons and jails they came, from insane asylums and mental institutions from all over the world. From Venezuela to the Congo. They came, a lot come from the Congo. I don't know what's happening in the Congo. We can almost tell the worst areas because if there's a run on the Congo, we know Congo's not doing well. But they come from all over the world. She's resettled them into your communities. Congratulations. And they can now prey on innocent Americans for a while. If Kamala gets 4 more years, the entire country will become like the migrant camp of LA and San Francisco. What the hell is happening to our cities? Look, it's Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, stand up. Whoa. Honest Abe. Thank you, Honest Abe. We have them all. I have no idea who he is, but he looks pretty damn good, I'll tell you. When I win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. You know, I had a big debate with a lot of very smart people, political people, and they're all saying the economy is the most important thing. And when you add inflation, I don't know, maybe it is inflation, I put it as part of the economy, but they say the economy and then inflation. And they had the border down as the third. And I disagree. I think, frankly, I don't even want to speak against myself. I think the border is number one. Because, you know, we can fix things, we can do, but what they've done to our country at the border is unbelievable by allowing 21 million people into our country. It's not sustainable. 645,000 are criminals, and some are 214,000 are what they call high grade A criminals. We have them. Think of that. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country is the savage Venezuelan prison gang. Isn't it nice? They formed a little friendship in prison, one of the meanest prisons you've ever seen. The Tren de Aragua. Have you heard of it? This is Tren de Aragua gang. Nice individuals, very nice. They're in Aurora, Colorado, where you have a very weak and pathetic governor who's petrified of them. He's afraid of the criminals. He's the governor. You can't be afraid. But they're in Colorado and communities all over nationwide. This gang is terrorizing law-abiding citizens, including taking over the multiple apartment complexes. But in Aurora, they're like me. They're in the real estate business. They want to go in. The only difference, I use financing, they use guns. Take a look.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis. Record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America.
It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about migrant crime, this is what they're talking about. Biden and Harris had created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE.
Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the apartment complex.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
And was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
So, crime rates all over the world are down. You know why? Every country, every single. Last week, the great Tom Homan, do you know Tom Homan? He told me last week 168 different countries were represented that violated the border. Countries that you never even heard of. Some countries, you've never even heard of them. And some of the most vicious criminals. And Kamala said a few weeks ago that the people that we take in are much nicer than our criminals. No, they make our criminals like the nicest people you've ever met. The only good thing is they do. Our criminals are considered extremely nice by comparison to the people that we see. They'll cut your throat, and the next morning they won't even remember. This is what they do. These are really bad. These are really evil people. And they also have terrorists coming in, and they have the drug lords coming in, and they say, if you ever come back, we're going to kill you. So we're stuck with them, but we're not stuck with them. They're going back. They're going back very soon, very quick. They're going back, and they're going back fast. And if the countries don't want to take them back, I just say very simply, that's okay. We're going to tariff every damn product you sell into the U.S. And they're going to say, like they always have to me, sir, we would love to take MS-13 gang members back. We think they're wonderful people. We had that problem when I first came in. You had Honduras, and you had, I'd say, 3 or 4 different countries, a little bit Mexico. But you had these countries, and they wouldn't take their people back. And I said to one of the generals, I want to get MS-13 the hell out of our country. I really don't want to put them in our jail, but I don't want to come back because it's too expensive. So we put them in, and I said, General, I want them back. Sir, they won't take them back. What are you talking about? They won't take them back, sir. How much money do we pay that little group of countries? Sir, we give them exactly $750 million a year for economic development. You know whose development is? For the president of the country. That's whose development, for his house. So let me ask you, so we give them that? Tell them they're in violation of our agreement. Tell them we are sending them back, and if you don't take them, in fact, don't even say that. Just say we're not sending them any more money. They called up. Following morning, all three, there was 3 countries in this case, so all 3 separate. They called up, said the same thing. Sir, there seems to be a misunderstanding. They said, no, Obama couldn't get them back. Nobody could get them back. Bush couldn't get them back. Nobody could get them back. I got them back. It took me about 1 phone call. So we said, no, there's no misunderstanding. You send them over in caravans and you don't take them back. You're going to take them back. And we're not giving you any more money. It's over. Your $750 million a year, it's over. Sir, we would be honored to take them back. This was a misunderstanding. It would be our great honor to take MS-13 vicious gang members back. We love them very much. And they took them back. It was like, no problem. They used to put airplanes on the runway, so we'd have an airplane go up and it couldn't land. It'd come back. That was with Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And we got them all back. We took them out. You know who took them out? ICE. And you know what she wants to do with ICE? She wants to get rid of ICE. I know some guys in the front couple of rows, and they're very tough, but they don't want to be in ICE. They don't want to be. They're not that tough. But we are known all throughout the world now as an occupied country. We're like an occupied country. We got people taking over parts of Colorado. We have people taking over other states. A lot of states don't want to talk about it because they're embarrassed. The governor's embarrassed. The mayors are embarrassed. But it's no different, really, than if we lost a war. But to everyone here in California and all across our nation, I make this pledge to you. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. Liberation Day. Liberation Day. We're going to be liberated. Did you ever think you'd hear that 10 years ago, 15 years ago? We're going to liberate our country from criminals. How stupid are we? How stupid are these leaders? They're stupid people. I will rescue California and every town across America that's been invaded and conquered. And we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of the country, which is number one. In May, an illegal alien was arrested in Los Angeles, you know about this, and charged with sadistically raping 2 women in the back of a windowless van that police said was disgustingly outfitted as, quote, a rape dungeon on wheels. Raped many people. Detectives believe this monster had many more victims whom he drove around late night looking for women, and a remote mountain canyon was involved, and the whole thing, no cell service, no anything, everything. Everybody was very sophisticated, in other words, viciously tortured. The women were really, really badly hurt. One woman said, he didn't want to rape me, he wanted to kill me. But they got him. And now we have to put him away for a long time. That's the thing, you know. I don't know Gascon, but I hear he's down in the polls, and that's a very good thing. That's a very good thing. Likewise, the savage animal who raped and murdered Rachel Morin. Do you know Rachel Morin? Beautiful woman, 37 years old, Maryland, mother of 5. Also broke into a home in Los Angeles just before that after crossing the border illegally. We had the strongest border in the history of our country. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. Illegally came in and horrifically assaulted a local 9-year-old girl and her mother, beat them up badly, very badly. One is maybe not even going to make it. In July, an illegal alien who was previously deported 3 times was arrested in Central Valley for sneaking up to a mobile home early in the morning and setting it on fire while a 32-year-old woman and her 7-year-old daughter and son of 10 years old were inside, all of whom were killed in the most excruciating deaths, and people watched it happen. There was nothing they could do about it. My message to the American people is very simple. No person who has inflicted the violence and terror that Border Czar Harris has unleashed on our country can ever be allowed to become the president of the United States. You can't let this happen. And anyone who would import criminal gangs to occupy America, we're not going to be occupied by anybody, cannot ask to be president of this country. Anyone who orchestrated an invasion of America cannot lead America. Kamala Harris, her reign of terror ends the day I take office. She's finished. She's finished. She's finished. And to expedite removals of Tren de Aragua and other savage gangs, there are many savage gangs. MS-13 is probably even meaner. They don't like using guns. They like using knives. They cut up 2 young girls, beautiful young girls, walking to school in Long Island. They like Long Island for some reason, a lot of them, but ICE got them out, largely got them out. But 2 beautiful young girls walking to school, and they cut them up with knives. They cut them up into little pieces. Both of them died. They didn't want to use a gun because a gun's not painful enough. These are animals. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And we will call it Operation Aurora. That's what we're going to, in honor of the people that have suffered in Aurora. at the hands of this horrible gang, Operation Aurora. And if they come back into our country after we're going to throw them out so far you wouldn't believe it. But if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. 10 years. And if that doesn't work, it'll be 20 years. And if that doesn't work, I guess it's going to be the death penalty, right? The death penalty. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or law enforcement officer. Death penalty. It's time. Kamala's mass migrants, she started this by letting people come in. No proof, no anything. They didn't need anything. There was no vetting. Just come on in. Where were you? Who are you? Don't worry, it doesn't matter. Murderers were coming in. Remember CNN, they had this young reporter, a young, beautiful young reporter, talking to somebody. Where do you come from? I come from Colombia. Oh. Were you in jail? Yes, I was in prison. What did you do? Murder. That was the end of CNN for the night. They were not happy with it. When that happened, the cameras sort of shut off, immediately shut off. No, these people, because look at all that press. Look at all the fake news. Wow. That's a lot of fake news. Man. That is a lot of fake news. We need borders, great borders. We had one, but we're going to have it again very quickly. 2016, I fixed it so fast and so good. The difference was this is 25 times worse. This is crazy. And in 2016, I said this is going to be the most important election we've ever had. And I meant it. But nobody knew they could do a thing like they've done. We gave them a border that was perfect. It was great numbers, great everything. All they had to do was leave it alone. He could have gone to the beach. Somebody told him he looks good in a bathing suit. He has one great thing, though. He has got an ability that I don't have. He can put down one of those 16-ounce little things that are made out of light aluminum. They're meant for old people and children to lift. He can't lift it, so a child is always with him. And he sleeps. The guy can fall asleep instantly with the press watching. Who the hell wants to sleep with these people watching? And he's out cold. You see the dribble coming down the side of his cheek. What do you think President Xi of China, he's a fierce person. I know him very well. He's a fierce man. What do you think he thinks? He's thinking, oh, this is great. But he's actually better than Kamala because, believe it or not, he's actually a more intelligent person. Can you believe that? Did you ever think I'd be saying that Biden is more intelligent than somebody? Kamala's mass migrant invasion is also placing crippling burdens on local communities and stealing jobs, resources, and opportunity from African American and Hispanic American citizens. These people coming in are taking the jobs of African Americans that have had it a long time. Their unemployment rate is through the roof. Where do you hear the numbers? And also Hispanic American at a little bit less clip. They're replacing people that have been in these jobs for a long time, doing a good job, not bothering anybody. They're living out their lives and they're being fired. And people that come in, and we don't even know who the people are. They have no way of knowing. A few years ago, one study found that 1 in 4 students in LA County schools was from an illegal immigrant-headed household. And after 4 years of Kamala Harris, the number is now a much higher number than that. Think of that. They come in by the thousands a day, thousands and thousands, all over the country. And you've heard the expression, every state is now a border state. They fly them over. That's the one thing nobody knew. It even took me a little while to figure that one out. We wondered, what were all those airplanes doing flying into our country? That's how we found them. We had like hundreds of planes flying over the border. They say, we're going to make the border tougher. How about she said, oh, we had a good border bill, but Trump talked Congress out of it. I didn't talk anybody out. The bill was defective. It was terrible. Millions of people would have come in and would have been made citizens, but that's not the point. The point is they slowed it down so the numbers looked a little bit better, not much, but what they didn't do is stop airplanes from pouring in with thousands of people. Hundreds of thousands of people a year are flown into the middle of our country. In other words, they're sick, and that's what they want. That's their policy. You know, they were trying to convince us, yes. All of a sudden she said, yes, we can do. For 3.5 years, think of this. She was saying the other day, yes, oh yes, we want to have a border. All of the first time she ever said it, she almost threw up when she said it. But the numbers were looking very bad for her, the poll numbers. She was getting trounced. She was getting trounced. And then all of a sudden she said, no, we'd like to have a wall. We'd love to have a wall. Remember me? I said wall. And Mexico did pay for it. You know, they gave us thousands and thousands of soldiers. They paid more, remember, because there was no vehicle for that. I just want to set the record straight because I do everything. We got thousands of Mexicans patrolling our border, free of charge. I said to the head of Mexico, the president, very good guy, he's a socialist, but these are minor details. I said to him, President, you have to give us 28,000 soldiers to patrol our border. Oh, Donald, I will not do that. Of course I won't. No, you will do that. I promise you, you will. No, I will not. Yes, you will. He goes, no way. And I said, way. And then I said, you know, he's a good guy. He's a friend of mine. He just left office. He's good. Good guy. But why would he do that? He would do that only if we had leverage. And we do have leverage because we're the pot of gold. We won't be the pot of gold for long if we have idiots like we're talking about coming in and running things. We won't be a pot of gold for long, let me tell you. But he said to me, no, we won't do that. I said, here's what you do. I don't want to be talking to you. You're my friend. I don't want to embarrass you with a negotiation. Have your negotiator, please, your top guy, come and see me. So they came in. What is... That's nice. That's nice. Thank you. Thank you. What a friendly group this is. I thought there was a little riot over there. Thank you. That's very nice. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody. That's very nice. Thank you over there. I can't even see them. It's so far away. Thank you very much. They probably can't hear us, so they might as well get into the act because it is far away. This is crowded. But just to finish the story, so I said, the guy comes in wearing the most beautiful suit I've ever seen. In fact, I wanted to say, who's your tailor, but it wouldn't be a good negotiation. Guy walks in to talk about soldiers on the border. I say, who's your tailor? This didn't work. So he walks in, handsome guy, beautifully tailored. And I said, no, we want you to give us 28,000 soldiers for our border free of charge. And he laughs at me. He sort of laughs. The State Department woman, very good, 25 years she's worked on Mexico. She said, sir, they'll never do that. I said, yes, they will, 100%. He said, no. I said, yes. He said, no. I said, yes. Then I said, here's what I'm doing. I'm signing an order. Every frickin' car that you sell into the United States is going to have a 50% tariff. And every piece of merchandise you sell into the United States, starting on Monday morning, this was a Friday evening, will have a tariff of 25 to 50%, and we'll make a tremendous profit over and above the cost to you. He said, may I have a minute, sir, and call somebody? I said, you're going to call the president, right? Yes, I am. Came back. I said, do me a favor. I'm very late. You know, they're trying to impeach me, and I have to work on that a little bit more. These sleazebags. I've been under investigation more than Alphonse Capone. Think of it. And they considered me to be a great president. Nobody did what I did. Nobody. So what happens is this. So he comes back 2 minutes later. Sir, I'd like to report that it would be our honor to give you thousands of soldiers, sir. We would love to give them to you free of charge, sir. I said, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So we gave, Mexico was a big contributor. I just wanted to set the record straight, you know. Remember when I said if they don't give, we're going to build the wall 10 feet higher? I was going to do that too. The massive costs of illegal immigration are now being experienced by communities all across the country and are destroying your children's education, their safety, and indeed their lives. Your children are in danger. They can't go to school with these people. These people are from a different planet. Kamala is turning us into a third world nation. That's what happened in San Francisco. When she was the DA of San Francisco, the things she did, she started that whole decline. With our victory, he says Willie Brown. Who said that? Who's the guy? What? Stand up. This can only happen in California. Yes. Yeah. I didn't say it. Remember that. He said it. He said it. He said it. Do you remember when a man, we're talking about this guy, Chris Christie, he went off the reservation, right? We have some people, and some guy shouts out to me, he's a fat pig, sir. Nobody heard it but me, you know, but it was still, he said it. Sir, you should not call Chris Christie a fat pig, please. He is not a fat pig. You shouldn't, you're very rude, sir. We're going to have to throw you out if you do it again. He is not a fat pig. And you know what? The press is saying, that son of a gun. They couldn't even report this, sir, because I was defending, because you're not allowed to use the word fat. You can use any word you can use. You cannot call somebody fat. That's not allowed anymore. You know, you lose your job, you lose your life. With our victory, we are going to become, and quickly, the greatest, strongest, freest, safest, and most powerful nation the world has ever seen. And on day one, I will close the border and I will stop the invasion of illegal criminals coming into our country. And despite all of the damage that she has done to this state and to our nation in the past 4 years, she's the worst. Oh, she's terrible. She's terrible. Thank goodness she doesn't have much energy, because if she had real energy, she'd really be bad. Kamala Harris said this week, she can't think of one thing, not one thing, that she would do differently. Take a look. I'll show you a few.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A 5th illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
U.S. inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
The cost of homes have spiked. Home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did in 2020 to afford a house.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
How dumb an answer. You know, their whole campaign is based around the fact that she's not going to do what Biden did. And then I was watching that one live. I got to watch my things. You know, it's part of my business, right? It's like a little different. but I had to watch it, and I said, oh, this is going to be a killer answer. You know, I assumed she was going to go through a whole list of things that she'd do differently. She said she wouldn't. The worst president in history, and she said she'd do it the same. That answer, that she would do nothing differently, is a totally disqualifying answer. It disqualifies her from running. Think of this, 86% of the country feels that we're on the wrong track, and she's giving it. Can you imagine? 86% record of the country feels that we're on the wrong track. Doesn't that tell you something? It tells you we got a problem. I actually worry about the next 3 months. I really do. I worry about the next 3.5, 4 months. We'll end up in a world war because of the people that we have. And if you're on the wrong track by that amount, how can you keep someone who has stated plainly and clearly that she would do nothing? She'd do nothing from Biden. With your vote, I will act with urgency and speed to save America and to rescue the people of California from Kamala Harris's atrocious failures. I will very quickly deflate. We are going to take inflation and we are going to deflate it. We are going to deflate inflation. We are going to defeat inflation. We're going to knock the hell out of inflation. We're going to use a thing that we have more of than anybody else. It's called liquid gold, oil and gas. And we're going to make America affordable again. For all of the working people struggling under the highest tax state in the nation, we will have large tax cuts. We're going to give large tax cuts for workers, and we will, ready? No tax on tips. No tax on overtime. And no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. None. By contrast, Kamala is known as the taxing queen. It's the only election I've ever seen where they say, we're going to raise your taxes. Vote for me, I'm going to raise your taxes, like by 72% or something. And they're going to end the Trump tax cuts. I gave you the largest tax cuts in the history of our country, larger than the Reagan tax cuts. They're going to end them. Add that to it. Her plan will raise taxes for the typical American family by more than $3,000 a year. In Detroit 2 days ago, I also announced that we will make interest on car loans fully deductible. Because affording a car is essential to restoring the American dream. You know, we've lost the American dream in this country. We have lost it for our young people. They want the American dream. They want to have a great life, like Elon Musk. They like his life. How good was he the other night? Did you see him? He was so happy. He was so happy. You know, he lives a reclusive life, the life of a super genius. But he's rather dark MAGA. That's right, dark MAGA. He's a different kind of a guy. He's great. He's great. He sees a hat. I didn't even know we made him. It's all black with black letters. That's called very subtle, right? You hardly even see Make America Great Again. He fell in love with it, and he wore it. I don't think he's taken it off in weeks. No, he wore it. And I said, what is that? He said, it's dark MAGA. I said, Elon, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, he gave us the best endorsement you've ever. He endorsed me a few months ago. He said, if Trump doesn't win, it's probably the end of our country. He means that too, by the way. He means that. And you know where he is today? He's campaigning in Pennsylvania for me. That's how good. He feels it's so important. And I really think we won't have a country left. Elon, oh, he'll be happy. He's a great guy. But, you know, really, I got involved last week because, as you know, Biden and Harris have done a horrible job on North Carolina and some of the other ones, in particular, the first of the hurricanes that came in. It really wiped out North Carolina. And a person I know, an official in North Carolina, said, sir, we're wiped out here. All our lines are down. We have no power. We have absolutely no communication. It became to the mainland. What happened is the water was so high, they were literally landlocked. And he said, do you know Elon Musk? And I said, yeah, I do. What do you need? He said, we need Starlink. I said, what the hell is Starlink? True. I said, Elon, what the hell is Starlink? No, I said, what is Starlink? He said, communication. Very good communication. So I called Elon. I said, Elon, they're in big trouble in North Carolina. They need Starlink, and you guys they're doing so well with it. It's a very hard thing to get. So I said, you guys, is there anything you can do? Because it's very, in the meantime, my phone rings, and it's the guy from North Carolina thanking me, and I'm still on the phone with Elon. I said, Elon, what the hell did you do? You told them that you've got it before I even hung up? So he's on a different planet than us, right? He said, yeah. He said, yeah, you were talking and I was, going whatever. And he got it. He got him a lot of it. He got it. And I said to the people, what's better, that or the hard line? He said, actually, Starlink is better. Starlink is better. But he's a great guy, and he's done a great job. And it's too bad that Kamala didn't do. I don't even know. She's essentially not even gone there, essentially. But what happened in North Carolina, and then Ron DeSantis, who's done a very good job in Florida, he didn't want her even involved. He was dealing with Biden. He didn't want her involved. I will also cancel Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate. Isn't it crazy? You guys, you have brownouts, blackouts. California has brownouts and blackouts every weekend, every day. And now he says, let's go all electric cars. These people are crazy. And the thing is that, and they're great, I like electric, but they're for a certain market. The amazing thing with Elon, he makes the Tesla. He's never, and he's a friend of mine, he has never called up and said, would you do me a favor? Would you lay the hell off the electric car? Because he understands he's got a great market. It's a smart market. It's a more expensive car. It's got some great things and some assets, but you also have to let gasoline-propelled cars in and hybrids in. They have another one now. You ever hear about the hydrogen? It's hydrogen. The problem with hydrogen has one fault. Somebody says it's better than everything. Got one fault. If it blows up, you're not recognizable. It's true. In other words, it doesn't happen much, maybe once a day in the nation. If the hydrogen car blows up, it's gone. You're gone. Your wife looks at a tree and there's nothing but blood on the tree. She said, I just can't tell. Is that my husband? No, these are serious problems. They wanted to give me one. I said, no, thanks. I don't want one. No, I'll take electric, frankly. So, but isn't that something? Elon never called up and he never said that. Swear to you, never said it. And he said, or as Biden would say, oh, no, I'm not kidding. You remember when he'd say, yes, we've been threatened with war by Russia. No, I'm not joking. He always says, I'm not joking. About the no, I'm not joking. I don't know if anybody understands that, but he's a weird dude, I'll tell you. They called J.D. Vance and me weird. How about the vice president, her, and Biden, the combination? But by the way, how good a job did J.D. Vance do the other night? Right? Our J.D. I shouldn't say it, but I took him in because he has a very good brain. We like smart people. He's very smart. He was a top student at Ohio State. He finished in 2 years, top of his class. And then I didn't know you could do that, actually. But he finished 2 years. Then he went to the military, was outstanding in the military. Then he came out, he went to Yale Law School. And he and his wife were like top students. And I sort of picked him a little bit for the brain. We had a lot of great people. We have a lot of great people that were in that group, and any one of them would have been fantastic. But J.D. did a great job the other night. The guy that he went against, you ever hear a guy call himself a knucklehead? And he's in a debate. I mean, he's the biggest liar. He lied about everything. And how come he went to China 28 times? What's going on? He went to China. Nobody asked him that one question. I kept saying, somebody asked him the question, why was he in China 28 times? There's a guy's got some problems. By the way, if you think she's all right, she's not. I think she's worse than him too, actually. But he went to China 28 times, and I'm waiting for somebody to ask him that question. It won't be the fake news, I can tell you that. It won't be those people. And I will not allow California politicians to get away with their plan to impose a 100% ban on the sale of gas-powered cars and trucks in your state. Not going to let it. That'll be ended in the first day. That'll be ended. These people, it's unbelievable. To bring jobs, factories, and wealth racing back to our shores, we will have a 15% made in America corporate tax rate. In other words, you have to make your product in America. Then you have only 15. Remember, I brought it down to 21% from almost 40%. Everyone said, there's no way you'll be able to. I had to get it passed in Congress. Can you believe it? It's the greatest tax cut, the biggest tax cut, and regulation cuts. The most regulations ever cut by a president by, I think, 3 or 4 times, actually. But we also, which I think is actually more important. I asked a lot of the big executives of the biggest companies, what was more important, the tax cut, where we took them from almost 40% to 21%, or the regulation cuts? Every single one of them said the regulation cuts, which actually surprised me. But it was the regulation. But I got you down to 21. And 21 is highly competitive with other countries. You know, we're dealing with other countries because they'll take our businesses in 2 seconds. It's not like, oh, gee, you know, you're not going to give them and they're going to sit still. They don't care about our country. Many of them aren't even from America. They're not from the U.S. They're, you know, international business people, very smart. And they will leave here in 2 seconds if they can get something substantially. So I came up with this idea. So now I have you at 21, brought you all the way down. And I said, if you make your product here, you don't have to pay 21, you can pay 15. And people called me from all over the planet. I got calls from the top guys on Wall Street. Who the hell gave you that idea? That's so good. And I oftentimes say, it's like the paperclip. Somebody came up with the idea for a paperclip 100 years ago. They look at it, and everybody looked at it and said, why the hell didn't I think of that? It's like the same thing, right? And for those who don't make their product in America, they'll be forced to pay stiff tariffs for the privilege of competing with our cherished companies and stealing our jobs, our treasure, our wealth. And we will take in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariff to the benefit of American citizens and pay off debt, or we're going to take care of our, you know, we owe $35 trillion. We're going to start cutting it down very quickly. We'll be able to with growth. We call it growth. But we're going to do that. We're going to protect these companies with tariffs. Remember this, in many years, many decades, China never paid 10 cents. And what they did to our country was incredible. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs and taxes from China. I don't think they liked me, but actually I liked them. And we actually had a very good relationship, President Xi and myself. Somebody said, what kind of a man is he? He's a fierce person. He is. He's a very smart guy. I hate to say brilliant because every time I call him brilliant, the press says, he said the president, well, he is a brilliant guy. Got 1.4 billion people. He rules it with an iron fist. And the press gets upset when I say he's a smart man. I would think he's a smart man, but actually he's somebody that we can't. The worst people are the enemies from within. The sleazebags, like a guy that you're going to elect to the Senate, Shifty Adam Schiff. He's a sleazebag. No, this guy. No, he's a major lowlife. And because of the fact that, you know, they send millions and millions of ballots someplace. They send them all over the place. California, you don't have anything like a voting booth. They take ballots, they just send them all over the place. They come back and they say, oh, somebody won by 5 million votes. And it's so corrupt, so corrupt. But you're going to have Shifty Adam Schiff. One of the true, I know him well, because he conceived of the Russia hoax, right? The Russia hoax. He is a bad person. He's a sick person. Not a stupid guy, but he's a sick puppy, that guy. One of the least, I'm not allowed to say this because this could cost you your president, because you're not supposed to talk about somebody's looks, and so I won't. But to me, he's one of the least attractive human beings I think I've ever seen. Not a stupid person. He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen. No. He's got the smallest neck. His neck is like so small, and his head is large. So he's not being held up by much. I can guarantee you he will not be playing for your local football team, I guarantee. But we're pleased to be joined today by some incredible people and friends of mine and warriors, real warriors, representatives. Darrell Issa. Where's Darrell? Is he here? Darrell. He's a great guy. Matt Gaetz. Is Matt Gaetz? Oh, look at Matt Gaetz. He's a great guy. He's really a great person. And he's on the controversial side, but that's not bad. And is he here with Ginger? He's here with Ginger. Hi, Ginger. And Ken Calvert, and he is here someplace. Where's Ken? Ken, thank you. Good job, Ken. Very good job. Do we have enough people for you guys? Do we have enough? Broke the record. There's Mr. Tom Barrack. I didn't recognize him with that hat on. Look at him. Stand up, Tom. Great guy. Great businessman, actually. He's a great businessman. But everybody needs to get out and vote for Ken, who's running right now. A radical California liberal is running against him, and I gave him a very strong endorsement. I put it out on Truth a little while ago. You saw that, and I want to mention, I heard you were here, and I want to mention, so good luck. Get out and vote for Ken Calvert, everybody. We also have members of our great Native American tribes. They're fantastic people. We have the chiefs. Where are they? They're here. Where are they? They're phenomenal people, and they're doing a beautiful job. They're great. And we also have a lot of farmers here today. You know, we do very well with the farmers, but the farmers are having a little rough spot because Biden and Kamala are not doing their job. You know, I never use the word Harris, you know, because if I say Harris, nobody knows who the hell I'm talking about. I say Harris is doing a terrible job, and they go, who the hell is Harris? It's a funny name, you know. It's a name, you know what I'm talking about, Tom? It's a name that nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about, so I call it Kamala. We also have a really great governor that I've gotten to know really well in the last 6-7 months, and he's doing a terrific job. Spencer Cox of Utah, and he's here someplace. It's a big crowd. He's here someplace amongst 100,000 people. Former National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien, good man. Thank you, Robert. And you know, Robert went out and got all of the top people in government, 300 and something of them, right? More than 300. And he went out and got them all, and they all came in the last couple of days and endorsed Trump. They said Trump is the greatest president we've ever had. 300 the top. We only had one problem, Matt. The press refused to cover it. Robert, all that work. But we had 300 the top people in the country. In fact, people that didn't even like me totally said he's great. I don't like him, but man, was he good, because I protected our country. And that was great. But the press hasn't picked it up too much. I'll have to give it to Matt Gaetz. Robert, give him a list. You know, if that were Kamala, they'd make it headlines. With Trump, 300, much more than they had. And these are much better people than they had, too, that I can tell you. Because remember this, I kept your country safe. We had no wars. And I'll keep you out of wars. But we did have one which I had to finish up, ISIS. It was supposed to take 5 years, and it took me 2 months. We also have a man who's a really fantastic person. He's really great. Did an unbelievable job on lots of things. He actually started off as the ambassador to Germany. And the greatest day in Angela Merkel's life was the day I took him out to promote him. She said, oh, my God, thank you. He drove Angela crazy. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. His name is Rick Grinnell. Thank you, Rick. And he did a fantastic job. And Kash Patel is here, one of our real warriors. A real warrior. And also somebody that's doing a beautiful job out here, even though, I mean, sadly, when you send out 38 million ballots and just send them out, they come back. What the hell? We're going to have to work on that when we get in. We're going to have to work on elections. We need borders, and we need fair elections, and we're going to work on it. But she is doing a great job, and she says, I'm setting all sorts of records. GOP chair, California, Jessica Patterson. Jessica, thank you very much. Thank you. Great job. does really a good job. It's somebody else who was so fantastic today. He's tough. He's a sheriff, and he fits the role. He fits that role. And he had the most beautiful family I've ever seen. Like, everybody's like a perfect specimen. I said, Sheriff, you're great, but your family looks even better than you. And I liked him from the moment I met him, and I talked to him a little bit, because this was not an easy one to pull off, let me tell you. We had a lot more people than some people thought. A lot of people thought this was what we were going to have, but a lot of people said maybe we'd have 10,000, maybe 20,000, but they didn't say 100,000. But he pulled it off, and he pulled it off because he's tough, and he's smart, and he's proud of his state and his country. Chad Bianco. Thank you, Chad. He's like central casting. Thank you, Chad. What a family, though. Look at the family. Thank you. Thank you both. Great. Another man, he wrote a song. It went to #1 on all the lists. You saw it? We put it. That's right. He said, Tom McDonald. It's Tom McDonald. Tom? Where's Tom? Thank you, Tom. That's a great song, too. I was honored by it. You know, he did the song, and I didn't know Tom as well as others, and now I know him very well, but he did the song, and it went to #1 on every single list. So I appreciate it. And another man who's here, and I thought the movie was great. Dennis Quaid is here with his brother, Randy Quaid. Two very good guys, and that movie was great. Ronald Reagan. Did you like him? Did you like Reagan? You liked him. He liked Reagan. He liked Reagan. I think you have to like him to play him that well. You did a beautiful job. Thank you. And a very rich guy. He owns this piece of land, and he's been after me for 3 years. Please use it. Just use it. We love you, sir. He's an unbelievable patriot, an unbelievable Republican. But you know what? That's less important. He loves our country. Al and Betty, we have to say, Hagen. Where's Al Hagen? Where is Al? Al Hagen. Great. Thank you, Al. Great property. Nice property, Al. I used to be in the business. Very nice. That was really beautiful. Thank you, Al. And Steve Hilton is here, who's been on television doing a fantastic job. Where's Steve? Where is Steve? He's around. And we have a lot of other people. We have a lot of congressmen. We have some senators, but I've had it. That's enough of this stuff. But I also want to send our love to all of the people back east who are recovering from 2 really devastating storms, hurricanes. Our hearts are with those who lost a loved one or a home, and that was a rough one. God bless them all. Kamala Harris is grossly incompetent. She didn't do a good job. She's got to do a good job, and she didn't. But the most radical left vice president in American history, that's what she's known for. She did so bad in so many different ways, and we're going to get on to a much more pleasant subject. It's called the revitalization of our country. We have a situation in our country where we're not going to let people continue to destroy it. California has been horribly mismanaged. Nothing has been managed worse than water. Do you know water? It sounds simple. Oh, water. What the hell is water? I was with Devin Nunes. Did anyone ever hear of Devin Nunes? He's great. He got big awards for what he did. He's very brave. He's the one that figured out the Russia hoax with Jim Jordan, the great Jim Jordan. 2 great guys. He's now running Truth and doing a very good job. Truth. Get onto Truth. But Devin, I'm riding up California, and we're going up toward the north, and we look at this land. I said, why is it all so barren? And then right in the middle of it, you have like this little green spot that's so beautiful, so vibrant. He said, because they have no water. I said, oh, I didn't know you had a drought. Do you have a drought? No. We take all of our water way up north, and we route it into the Pacific Ocean. So instead of coming down to past the farms where you take the farms, I mean, you had thousands and thousands of acres that was dead, bone dry. And they tell me, farmers told me, it's the finest land in the country. It's as like Iowa land. It's the finest land in the country, but they have no water. Artificially, they reroute it because they want to save, there's a fish, Delta smelt. Anyone ever hear of it? And it's not just to this area. By the way, the Delta smelt is doing extremely badly, especially since it has no water. You know, they think they have a fish, and their way of saving the fish is not to give it water. Somehow that doesn't work. But you have a little Delta smelt, but you have other areas, so it's not like to this area only. And millions and millions of gallons of water over a short period of time gets pumped right into the Pacific Ocean. They have like a giant faucet, like your sink, except 1,000 times bigger. Takes one day, they turn it. It's a big valve, it goes over, and the water pours by the millions of gallons. It pours into the Pacific Ocean, which for the Pacific is like a drop, just like a drop. And if they turn that faucet the way it should be, it's been that way for years. And I went to your governor, and he said, well, the hard part is the federal government. It was actually Department of Commerce. And I got it worked out at Department of Commerce. Within 2 months, everything was done. Then I went to see Gavin Newsom, and I said, and they didn't want to do it. They had all sorts of, reasons, nonsense. They use the environment. Everybody uses the environment to stop things. But we're not going to let that happen because it was toward the end, and we're not going to ever let that happen again. You would have so much water. I read where in Beverly Hills and Bel Air, they want to bring you down to like 28 gallons a person. That sounds like a lot. But you know what that is? Like about a 7-minute shower. You spend a fortune for a house and you can't take a shower. So we're going to take care of our farmers. We're going to take care of your water situation. And we'll force it down his throat. And we'll say, Gavin, if you don't do it, we're not giving you any of that fire money that we send you all the time for all the forest fires that you have. It's not hard to do. We just had so many other things to do. I was working on 2 Russia hoaxes. I was working on impeachments. I was working on indictments. They went out of their way to keep me busy because they didn't want this to happen. They didn't want this. It could have happened to nobody else, believe me. But Devin has done a fantastic job. We are going to have, that farmland is going to be the most fertile land. One of the farmers told me, sir, it's the best land in the country. They won't give us any water. I actually said, oh, you have a drought? I figured they didn't have rain. He said, no, the opposite. We have so much water, we don't know what to do with it. But they won't let the water come down. I think these guys actually hate our country, if you think. I think they hate our country. With your vote this November, we are going to defeat this radical left country destroyer, her and him, and we're going to finish what we so brilliantly started. We have so many different things, and yet, we're very consequential. You know how I know that? Because only consequential presidents get shot at. You know that, right? It's true. Biden's got no problem sleeping on the beach. If I slept on the beach, it would last very short. Wouldn't be good. The Secret Service wouldn't be too happy. Kids, I want to go to sleep on the beach. Who the hell sleeps in front of the paparazzi, the media? How do you sleep in front of the media? The cameras are rolling and he lays down. And you know the amazing thing? He's out cold within 2 or 3 minutes. I could never do it. I toss and turn at night. I sweat, I toss and turn thinking about things and deals. How am I going to get China for what they're doing? How am I going to do this? I toss and turn and toss and turn. I then wake up, and then I go to work, and then I go late to bed. I toss and turn. He goes to the beach, he lays down, and he falls asleep within 2 minutes. He's stone cold out. They're always showing him pictures. He's stone cold out. I consider that actually a great ability. I'd like to have some of it, not all of it. I'd like to have a little bit of it. Maybe he could sell it. We would, because if he could, he would do it. I promise you. We will quickly become energy independent, and we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill. And I will cut your energy prices in half within 12 months. Your energy prices will be cut within 12 months. And remember what I said, California. You're going to have so much water, you're not going to know what the hell to do with it. They're going to call me, remember about winning, when I used to do this about winning? They're going to call me in the White House, and they're going to say, sir, please, please, we have too much water. We're flooding. Please, sir, please, we have too much water. Right now, you don't have any water. Artificial. It's artificial. Sir, please, could we see you? We have far too much water. I will stop outsourcing and turn the U.S. into a manufacturing superpower. And I will end the war in Ukraine, stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent very definitely World War III. We're very close to World War III. Very, very close. Are they okay back there? Take your time, doctor. Doctor, thank you. Is there a doctor? Doctor in the house? Yeah, take your time, please. Don't forget, they've been here for 2 days, 3 days. These guys have been here for a long time, so yeah, take your time. Thank you very much. Great. Thank you, doctor. Let's give that incredible person a hand. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. They've been here. A lot of people have been here a long time. And I know you didn't notice it was about 100 degrees out today. It's not exactly cool up here either, but now it's pretty nice. In fact, now we could go on all night. It's starting to get very nice. We go all night. Right? Front row Joe stands up. They want to go all night, I'll tell you that. I will crush the violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and the respect that they deserve. They're great people. They're going to end our crime problem very quickly. All we have to do is give them the word. They're ready to go. They don't want to lose their house. They don't want to lose their car. They don't want to lose their job, their pension, what they do to our police. Our police are incredible. They want to do the job. They're not allowed to do the job. When thugs walk into a department store, 400 or 500, they walk out with refrigerators. Can you believe it? With air conditioners. And our police are told to stand back. They're not going to stand back, and we're going to indemnify them against any problems they have federally. We will end all sanctuary cities, and in California, we're going to get rid of your sanctuary city. They're cities to protect criminals. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We will build a missile defense shield, and it'll all be made in the USA, and a lot of it right here in California. And we will not have a woke military. Take a look.
You little scumbag! I got your name. I got your ass! You will not laugh. You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers.
Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month, and actually, let's declare it a summer of pride.
So you're a killer? Sir, yes, sir! Let me see your war face. Sir, you got a war face? Ah! That's a war face. Now let me see your war face. Ah! Bullshit. You didn't convince me. Let me see your real war face. Ah! I hear it and I know I know you wanna take. You will be a weapon. You will be a minister of death, praying for war. But until that day, you are puke. You are the lowest form of life on earth. You are not even human fucking beings. You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit.
How to abracadabra, these bitches know I got answers the way I...
It looks to me like the best part of you ran down the crack of your mama's ass and ended up as the brown stain on the mattress.
We're not going to be woke. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., which is a disgrace what they've let happen to it, with graffiti all over the beautiful Aurora. Marble, we have the most beautiful marble. They have graffiti all over the place. They have roads with potholes. We're going to fix up our capital. We're going to make it so beautiful. As well as Los Angeles and San Francisco, we're going to bring them back and make them safe and clean and beautiful again. And I will support universal school choice, which is so important. And we will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our school. And we will keep men out of women's sports. Men out of women's sports. I will defend the Second Amendment, protect religious liberty, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections like they've never been secured before. And under the Trump administration, we will put American citizens first, American children first, American patients first, American taxpayers first, American workers first, and American communities. We're going to put them first. But we will put communists, Marxists, and fascists last. They're going to be last. And they will always be last. We will defend our territory. We'll defend our families. We will defend our communities. We will defend our civilization. We will not be conquered. We will not be occupied. We will not be invaded. We will reclaim our sovereignty. We will reclaim our nation. And I will give back your freedom and give back your life. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda once and for all. And we want record numbers. We want to make it too big to rig. We want to go out and have record numbers. Get everyone you know and vote. After all we've been through together, and we've been through a lot. We've watched our country disintegrate right in front of us. We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. I think we can do that. I think these have a chance to be the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. And with your help, from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise, and we will take back the nation that we love. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. I believe that. We'll take back our country. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, California. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. God bless you.